Beautiful soul, before anything else, take a breath right now and feel this moment. Let your shoulders drop. Let your chest soften. Let the noise of the day go quiet for just a few seconds, because what is about to be said to you matters. The angels are here with you right now, surrounding you, filling the space you are sitting in with the warmest, most golden light you can imagine. They have been close to you all day, walking beside you, waiting for this moment when you would find your way to this message. And here you are. You found it. They brought you here. This is not a coincidence. Nothing the universe does is by accident, and the fact that you are reading these words right now at this exact moment in your life is a divine arrangement. You were meant to be here. You were meant to receive what heaven is about to say. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. This is our only official channel. Please beware of copycat and pirated channels, and stay connected to the original source for authentic angel messages and true blessings. Before we begin, a heartfelt thank you to Vicky and Bradley for sowing a seed for Soulmate through your Ko-Fi super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you every step of your journey. Thank you for your beautiful support. Now, before we go any further, the angels are asking one thing of you. Stay. Don't move away. Don't let your fingers scroll to something else. Don't let the business of your day pull you out of this space before we reach the end, because the angels specifically held the most important part of this message for the final moments. It is the kind of message that only lands if you are patient enough to receive the whole thing. So please stay with us. Every word from this point forward was chosen for you, and you will want to hear all of it. Something has been heavy in your world lately. There is a person you think about, someone whose presence or whose absence takes up space in your heart in a way that is hard to explain to other people. Someone you feel connected to in a way that goes deeper than ordinary circumstances, deeper than what you can always put into rational words. And somewhere along the way, something shifted. A silence fell. A distance appeared. Something that felt alive and close and real suddenly felt far away and quiet and uncertain. And you have been sitting with that, haven't you? Carrying it with you through your days. Wondering what it means. Wondering if you imagined the depth of what you felt. Wondering if the connection was real, or if it was just something you wanted so badly that you built a story around it. Wondering why they went quiet. Wondering if you did something wrong. Wondering if there is anything you could do, or if there is anything you should do, or if you are simply supposed to let it go and move on. The angels see all of that. Every question, every quiet ache, every moment of doubt wrapped inside the bigger feeling of knowing that refuses to leave. And they want to say something to you right now, directly and clearly and with all the love that heaven carries. What you feel is real. What you sense is real. The knowing that lives in the deepest place inside you. The place that says this isn't finished. This isn't over. There is still something alive here. That knowing has not misled you. You are not imagining things. You are reading something true. But the situation around it, the silence, the distance, the sudden pullback, that is more complicated than it looks from the outside. And today the angels want to help you see it from a different angle. Not the angle of confusion and hurt and not knowing. The angle of understanding. The angle of truth. Let's start with what is happening in the world of this person you are connected to, because the angels have been watching, and what they see is not simple. Right now, in the life of this person, there is unrest. There is a kind of inner anxiety, a restlessness that they are trying to contain but cannot fully hide. The people around them, the ones who are close to them, the family, the people in their inner circle, they feel it too. There is something unsettled in the energy of that space. Something that makes conversations go quiet at the wrong moments. Something that makes people choose their words more carefully than usual. Something that makes the air in that home feel a little heavier than it should. You may have sensed this already without knowing exactly what you were sensing. That inexplicable feeling that something is happening beneath the surface of the silence. That feeling that the quiet between you and this person is not empty but actually very, very full. Full of things that haven't been said yet. Full of truth that hasn't found its way out yet. The angels say your sensing is accurate. There is something buried in the story of this person's life right now. A truth that has been pressed down, covered over, held back by the weight of circumstances and other people's fears, and a situation that became more complicated than it should have been. And that truth, the one that has been buried, it is directly connected to you, to the silence between you, to the reason why the distance appeared when it did. And here is what the angels most want you to understand about that. The truth is rising. Cannot stay buried forever. Truth never does. It has a pressure to it, a weight that grows heavier the longer it is pressed down, until eventually the ground can no longer hold it and it pushes up through the surface on its own. That is what is beginning to happen in the energy around this person and the people in their life. The restlessness you feel in their world is the sound of truth in motion. Now let's talk about why this person went quiet. Because this is the part that the angels want you to hear very carefully. And they want you to receive it not with hurt, but with compassion. The stepping away, the silence, the pulling back, it did not come from a place of not caring. It did not come from a decision made freely and with a clear heart. It came from pressure. It came from the weight of something outside of them, outside of the bond between you, that pressed in and made the path forward feel impossible in that moment. There are people in this person's world who are afraid of your connection. Not because your connection is wrong or dangerous, but because it is powerful. Because it changes things. Because it has the kind of depth and pull that disrupts the comfortable arrangements that other people in their life had settled into. And when people feel that their comfortable arrangements are being disrupted, fear speaks up. Fear starts giving advice. Fear starts nudging people in directions that serve the fear, not the truth. Your person listened to those voices, not because they wanted to, not because they agreed with them in the deepest part of themselves, but because the pressure was real. And because sometimes when you are in the middle of something and surrounded by people who are all saying the same fearful thing, it can be hard to hear your own heart over the noise. And so the silence fell, not as rejection, not as indifference, but as the result of someone who is genuinely connected to you being pushed by outside forces into a corner where staying quiet felt like the only option available in that moment. But here is the spiritual truth that never changes. You cannot cage the heart indefinitely. You can pressure someone into silence, but you cannot pressure away what they genuinely feel. You can create distance between two people, but you cannot dissolve a bond that exists at the level of the soul. The heart remembers what the mind is asked to ignore. And the pull of a real connection does not stop pulling just because other people ask it to. Your person still feels that pull. Even now. Even in the middle of all the noise and pressure and circumstance that has been surrounding them. Even when they are sitting in a room full of people who are trying to redirect their attention and their energy, somewhere inside them there is a frequency that is tuned to you. It has not been turned off. Cannot be turned off. That is not how it works when the connection is real. The angels want you to carry that with you. The connection is still alive. On both sides. And now let's talk about the family, about the people in their inner circle, because understanding what is happening there will help you understand why the energy around all of this feels the way it does. The anxiety that surrounds this person's family right now is not the anxiety of people who are simply worried about someone they love. It is a more complicated anxiety than that. It is the anxiety of people who have been holding something in place, working to keep a story going in a certain direction, and who are beginning to feel that story slip out of their hands. It is the anxiety of people who sense that the truth they have been helping to contain is getting larger and more insistent and harder to hold down. This is what happens when human beings try to work against something that the universe is working toward. They can apply pressure. They can create obstacles. They can delay things, but they cannot permanently override what heaven has set in motion. And when the thing heaven has set in motion is as real and deep and powerful as a genuine spiritual bond between two people, all the human effort in the world to prevent it from finding its rightful expression is going to eventually, inevitably, run out of steam. That is what is beginning to happen in the world of this person you are connected to. The people who tried to keep things quiet, to redirect, to maintain a certain arrangement at the cost of truth, they are feeling the effort of it. They are feeling the weight of what they have been carrying. And that weight is becoming visible in their energy, in their behavior, in the restlessness that has settled over that space like a fog that nobody can quite explain. Their panic is not something you need to fear. It is actually something to pay attention to as a sign. Because in the spiritual landscape, when people who are working against a truth start to feel this kind of unrest, it is usually because the truth is close. Not far. Close. The angels say, it is close. Now, there is something else the angels want to share with you, and this is the part that may surprise you, or maybe it won't, because maybe part of you has known it all along without knowing how you knew. This person, the one you think about, the one whose silence has been so heavy, they are watching. Not in a way that is calculated or distant or cold. In the way that someone watches when they care so much that they cannot stop themselves. But they also cannot step forward yet for reasons that feel bigger than them in this moment. They are watching to see if you are okay. They are watching because their heart is still oriented toward you even when their circumstances have forced their body and their words in a different direction. And they are waiting, not comfortably, not peacefully, but waiting for something to shift, for the pressure to ease. For the moment when it becomes possible to do what their heart has been telling them to do this whole time. The angels want you to understand this because it matters for how you carry yourself during this time. You are not invisible to them. You have not been forgotten. The silence is not the same as absence. The distance in the external world does not reflect the distance, or lack of it, in the internal world of the heart. In the internal world of the heart, you are not far away at all. Let's talk for a moment about what the universe does with time and space that looks like loss or separation, because this is one of the most important spiritual lessons that love ever teaches. Before we go deeper into today's message, if you feel guided by this energy, you can sow your seed for your soulmate's well-being and protection through the Ko-Fi link Super Thanks in the description or pinned comment. This is a simple way to support this divine mission and invite blessings for your soulmate journey, emotional healing, and overall well-being. Many believe that when you give with a pure heart, it returns as love, peace, happiness, and abundance in your life. When a real connection is interrupted by circumstances, the universe does not simply pause that connection like a paused piece of music. It continues working with both people separately in the quiet of the interruption. It takes the space that has opened up and fills it with growth. It takes the silence and uses it to clear out the things that were in the way. It takes the pain of the distance and refines something in each person, making them more ready, more whole, more genuinely prepared for what the connection is meant to become. This is not a comfortable process. Refinement rarely is, but it is a purposeful one. And when it is complete, when the work that needed to happen in the quiet has been done, the universe begins to reassemble the pieces. It begins to move circumstances back toward each other. It begins to soften what was hard and open what was closed and bring truth to the surface in the way that truth always eventually comes. You have been in the refinement. You have been in the season of growing and deepening and becoming more of who you are, even when it felt like loss, even when it felt like standing still. But beloved, a season always ends. And the season you have been in is ending. The angels are very clear on this. They are not speaking in hypotheticals or possibilities. They are speaking in the language of what they see unfolding. And what they see is that the work of this particular season is nearly complete. The things that needed to shift have shifted or are in the final stages of shifting. The ground is being prepared. The pieces are being moved into position. Something is coming. Something good. Something that will make the silence make sense in hindsight in a way that it cannot quite make sense yet from where you are standing. Pay close attention to the weeks ahead. Not with anxiety and not with the kind of desperate watching that comes from fear, but with the quiet, open awareness of someone who knows that a message is on its way and is simply waiting for it to arrive. The signs will appear. They may be small at first. A shift in the energy. A nudge that seems to come from nowhere. Something said or seen or heard that strikes you differently than it would have on any other day. A moment that feels like a turning point without you quite being able to say why. These are the signals that the angels plant along the path as they work to bring things forward. They are saying, watch for them. Don't be so caught in the heaviness of the waiting that you miss the lightness of the signs. And here is what the angels want to say about the truth that is rising in that household, in that inner circle, in the world of the person you are connected to. When truth rises after a long time underground, it does not always announce itself dramatically. Sometimes it simply begins to leak. A conversation that takes an unexpected turn. A moment of honesty where someone says something they have been holding back without quite meaning to. A slip, a crack, a glance exchanged that carries more information than any words could have. A sudden shift in someone's behavior that reveals the strain of maintaining a story that is no longer holding together cleanly. These are the early signs that the containment is breaking down. And when containment breaks down, the full truth is never far behind. When it comes, it will connect dots that have been confusing. It will answer questions you have been living with. It will explain the silence in a way that changes how you feel about the silence. Not erasing the hurt of it, not pretending the waiting wasn't hard, but giving it a context that transforms the story you have been telling yourself about what it all meant. The angels say the truth that is coming will not diminish you. It will not confirm your worst fears. It will, if anything, confirm what your heart has quietly known all along. That what exists between you and this person is real, that the distance was circumstance and not choice, and that the choice, the genuine heart-level choice, has been the same on both sides all along. That is the truth that is rising, and it is coming toward you. Now let's talk about you for a moment, because the angels have not forgotten what you have been carrying. You have been strong, even when you weren't sure you were being strong, even when the uncertainty felt like it was wearing you down, even when you questioned whether you should hold on or let go, whether the feeling was worth trusting, whether the love you felt was pointing you toward something real or leading you somewhere painful. You kept going. You kept showing up for your life. You kept choosing to stay open even when the easiest thing would have been to close. The angels see that, every single bit of it, and they want you to know that the strength you have shown during this season is not going unnoticed and not going unrewarded. There is a law in the spiritual universe that says the effort you make to stay in truth, to stay in love, to stay open and trusting even when circumstances give you every reason to close down and protect yourself, that effort accumulates. It builds something. It becomes a kind of gravity that the universe responds to. And what it attracts toward it is more truth, more love, more of the openness that you have been choosing. You have been building that gravity. Day by day, through all the uncertainty, through all the questions and the quiet ache and the moments of doubt, you have been building something real in the spiritual dimension of your life. And that something real is now drawing toward you the things that match it. The truth, the openness, the genuine thing. The angels are saying, what you have been building is ready to receive what it has been calling toward it. There is a word the angels keep using as they speak about this moment in your life, and that word is alignment. Everything is in the process of aligning. The internal work that you have been doing, the truth that is rising in their world, the inevitable pull of a real connection asserting itself against all the circumstances that have tried to suppress it. The universe moving pieces into place with the precision that only heaven is capable of. When things align in this way, the shift can feel sudden even when it has actually been building for a long time. You might look back and see that the signs were there for weeks before the actual moment of change, but in the moment itself it can feel like something happened all at once. Like a door that was slightly cracked finally swinging open fully. Like a sound that was muffled finally coming through clear. The angels are preparing you for that moment. Not so that it will overwhelm you, but so that you will be ready to receive it fully. So that when it comes, you will have the grounded, open, trusting presence to step into it without flinching, without running from it, without letting old fear talk you out of recognizing it for what it is. Be ready. Not tense, not braced, ready in the way that a plant is ready for sunlight, open and oriented toward what it has been growing toward all along. There is something the angels want to say about the people in this person's life, the ones who have been contributing to the silence and the distance, the ones who have been part of the pressure that pushed things into hiding. And what they want to say is this: hold no bitterness toward them. This is not an easy thing to hear, so let us sit with it for a moment. The people who act out of fear, who try to control what they cannot control, who press and pressure and maneuver because they are frightened of losing something, those people are not your enemies. They are simply people who are afraid. And fear at its core is just love that has lost its way. Love that doesn't know how to trust. Love that doesn't believe there is enough to go around. Love that closes in on itself and becomes protection instead of staying open and becoming connection. The people in that inner circle who have contributed to this situation are not bad people. They are scared people. They are people who love in the small, contracted, fearful way that humans sometimes fall into when they haven't yet learned to love in the open, trusting, expansive way that the angels would love to teach all of us. And they will face their own reckoning with that. They are already facing it, in the restlessness and the anxiety and the panic that surrounds them. The universe always brings us face to face with the consequences of choosing. Fear over truth, not as punishment but as teaching. Your part in this is not to carry anger toward them. Your part is to stay in the love, to stay in the truth, to stay in the knowing that what belongs to you is coming and what is not for you is falling away. That is the highest position you can stand in, and it is also, the angels would tell you, the most powerful. Bitterness anchors you to the past. Forgiveness, even before understanding has fully come, sets you free to move into what is next. And what is next is worth being free for. Let the angels carry any bitterness you might feel. Give it to them. They can take it. And in its place, they want to give you something much more useful: clarity, trust, the settled, quiet, unshakable knowing that the universe is working in your favor, even when the evidence isn't fully visible yet. Especially when the evidence isn't fully visible yet. Because that is when trust does its most important work. There is a beautiful concept in spiritual teachings across many traditions, and it goes something like this. The darkest moment is always just before the dawn. The silence is always loudest in the last few minutes before the sound breaks through. The waiting is always most intense in the very last stretch before the arrival. The angels are saying to you today, you are in the last stretch, not the middle, not the early stages. The last stretch of this particular season of silence and uncertainty and distance. The energy has been building towards something for a long time, and the building is nearly complete. The pressure that has been accumulating in the situation around this person, the truth that has been pressing up from beneath the surface, the connection that has been pulling against everything that tried to suppress it, all of that is reaching a point of critical mass. And when things reach critical mass in the spiritual dimension, they move, they break through, they find their expression in the physical world in ways that can feel almost sudden, almost miraculous, almost like nothing was happening and then everything happened at once. The angels are preparing you to receive a miracle. Not a small, quiet miracle. The kind that reorganizes things. The kind that answers the questions you have been living with. The kind that restores what felt lost and reveals that it was never truly gone. Only temporarily hidden by circumstances that have now run their course. Beloved, this is what is coming for you. This is what the angels see from where they stand. And they stand in a place where all of time is visible at once, where the path ahead is as clear as the path behind, and where they can say to you with full certainty, what is coming is good. It is deeply, profoundly, beautifully good. The silence will be broken, not by force, not by anything you have to do or make happen, but by truth asserting itself in the natural, inevitable way that truth always eventually does. The distance will close, not because someone was pressured or convinced, but because the pull between two people who are genuinely meant to find each other again is stronger than anything that was placed between them. The confusion will clear, not slowly and painfully and with more questions, but in one of those moments of sudden clarity that you will not soon forget. When everything that was foggy becomes crisp and you understand in a single breath what took so many days to make sense of. And then there will be a beginning, a real one, built on truth that has been tested and survived, built on connection that persisted through the hardest conditions, built on two people who, each in their own way, held on when they could have let go, trusted when they could have given up, and stayed oriented toward each other even through all the noise that tried to redirect them. That beginning is yours. The angels are holding it for you. They have been all along. Stay close to yourself in the days ahead. Stay close to the things that make you feel grounded and loved and like yourself. Stay in connection with the beauty that already surrounds you, because when you are rooted in gratitude for what is present, you become a more open vessel for what is coming. Talk to the angels when you feel the uncertainty rising. You don't have to use any specific words or follow any specific practice. Simply speak, silently or aloud, and know that you are heard. Know that whatever you carry in this moment, the hope, the questions, the love, the impatience, the trust, all of it is received and held and worked with on your behalf by beings who love you completely and unconditionally and without limit. You are never doing this alone. You were never doing this alone. Even in the quietest, most uncertain moments of this whole season, you were accompanied by angels who could see the whole picture when you could only see the part you were standing in. By a universe that was working diligently behind the scenes on a story that had not yet reached its fullest expression. That story is reaching its fullest expression now. The turn is here. The tide is shifting. The truth is rising. The connection is asserting itself. And the love that never actually went anywhere is about to make itself visible again in a way that you will know deep in every part of you is real. Hold on, beautiful soul. You are so close. The angels are with you. Every breath, every step, every moment between now and the moment when everything you have been holding space for finally arrives. And they want you to close your eyes for just a second and let yourself feel this. You are loved. Not as a concept, not as a comforting thought, but as a living, breathing, active truth. The love the universe carries for you is not passive. It is moving. It is working. It is reaching toward you constantly, pulling good things toward you, clearing paths for you, arranging moments and openings and revelations in ways that serve your highest good. You are loved by heaven itself, and the angels are its messengers, and they are here today specifically for you. What is coming will surprise you with its beauty. What is being revealed will answer more than you even knew you were asking. And what is beginning, this new chapter that the silence was preparing ground for, it is going to be one of the most meaningful chapters of your life. Stay open, stay trusting, stay in the love. The angels have the rest. We love you, beautiful soul. Heaven loves you. And the universe that arranged this exact message to find you on this exact day has never, not for a single moment, let you go. And now, before we fully close this message, the angels have one more thing they want to share. Because they never send someone away without leaving them with something they can carry forward. Something practical. Something they can return to when the uncertainty creeps back in, as uncertainty sometimes does, even when we know we are on the right path. The angels want to give you a practice. Simple and powerful and yours to use whenever you need it. When you feel the weight of the waiting pressing on you, when the questions start getting louder than the knowing, when doubt starts whispering that maybe you are wrong to trust what you feel, do this one thing. Go very quiet, even if it is only for a minute. Even if you have to step into a bathroom or sit in your car or find a corner of your room where the noise of life is a little bit muted. Go quiet, and in that quiet, place one hand on your heart. Not as a gesture, but as a real act of attention. Feel the warmth of your own hand against your own chest. Feel the rhythm underneath. That rhythm, that steady, faithful beat that has carried you through every hard day of your entire life without stopping, without doubting, without asking whether it should continue. That is the rhythm of your soul's certainty. Your heart knows things that your mind is still working out. Your heart has been carrying the truth of this connection all along, even when your mind was drowning in questions. And when you go quiet and place your hand there and breathe, what you will feel is not anxiety. What you will feel is knowing. The quiet, unshakable knowing that has been there this whole time, steady as a heartbeat, faithful as the sunrise. Stay with that feeling for as long as you can. Let it spread from your chest into your whole body. Let it remind you of what is real beneath all the circumstance. And then carry it with you back into your day, like a warm coal you have wrapped in cloth and tucked into your pocket. Reach for it whenever the cold of uncertainty tries to get in. The angels gave you that knowing. It is a gift. It is also a compass. And it is pointing in the right direction. There is another thing the angels want you to do in the days ahead, and it might sound small, but it is actually quite significant in the spiritual dimension. They want you to begin making space. Not physical space necessarily, although sometimes that too can be meaningful, but energetic space. The kind of space that says to the universe, I am ready, I am open, I have room in my life for what is coming. This can look like different things for different people. For some, it looks like releasing a worry they have been carrying tightly. For others, it looks like doing something they love, something that reminds them of who they are beyond this situation, something that fills them up from the inside. For others still, it looks like simply allowing themselves to feel joy in small moments, allowing themselves to laugh, to breathe fully, to be present in their own life rather than always living in the forward lean of waiting. When you make this kind of space, when you release the tight grip of anticipation and simply live fully in the now while trusting the coming, you become magnetically attractive to what is heading your way. The universe loves a receptive vessel. It loves when you trust enough to stop grasping and instead simply open your hands. Open your hands, beloved. The angels will fill them. And one more thought, because the angels want to be thorough, and because this particular thought matters very much for where you are. Be gentle with yourself. Please, be as gentle with yourself as you would be with someone you deeply love who is going through exactly what you are going through. Would you tell that person they were foolish for caring? Would you tell them they should have known better? Would you criticize them for the love they feel or the hope they carry? Of course not. You would hold them. You would tell them their love is one of the most beautiful things about them. You would tell them that feeling deeply is not a weakness. It is a profound strength. Tell yourself those things, because they are true of you too. You are not weak for caring this deeply. You are not naive for holding on to hope. You are not making a mistake by trusting what you feel in the quiet moments when all the outside noise goes still and your heart speaks plainly. You are brave. You are open. You are someone who loves in the real way, the kind of love that stays even when staying is hard. And that is not a flaw. That is one of the most precious things about you. The angels chose to speak to you today because they see that preciousness in you. They see the depth you carry. They see the truth you have been faithful to even when faithfulness was costly. And they wanted you to know, directly and clearly and from the place of heaven itself, that your faithfulness has not been lost. It has been seen. It has been honored. And it is about to be answered. You prayed for this, didn't you? Maybe not in words. Maybe not in any formal way. But somewhere inside you, in the deep place where longing lives, you have been reaching toward something. Toward truth. Toward clarity. Toward the kind of love that doesn't flinch. Toward the moment when what you feel on the inside finally matches what you can see on the outside. The angels heard that reaching. They hear all reaching that comes from a genuine heart. And they responded by working in the spaces you couldn't see, pulling threads together, aligning moments, preparing the ground for exactly the kind of truth and clarity and real love that you have been reaching toward. This is the moment they have been working toward. Right now, the season that you are entering as you step away from this message and back into your day. Carry with you the warmth of what the angels spoke here. Carry with you the knowing that you are not alone. Carry with you the certainty, given to you directly from heaven, that what belongs to you is on its way to you and that nothing, no amount of silence or distance or other people's fear, has been able to stop that. Walk into your day with your head up, beloved. Walk into it with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that the story isn't finished, that the best part is still coming, and that the universe has never, not for a single second, stopped working on their behalf. The silence you have been sitting in was always the space between one chapter and the next. It was always the breath before the sentence. It was always the dark before the dawn that is already coloring the horizon. The dawn is coming. The light is already moving. And you, beautiful soul, you are standing exactly where you are supposed to be standing to receive it. The angels love you so deeply it would take 1,000 of these messages to begin to express it. Heaven sees you. Heaven holds you. And heaven is, right now in this very moment, preparing something beautiful for the life you are living. Trust it, feel it, know it, and know that whenever you need to remember, whenever the weight gets heavy and the questions get loud and the uncertainty tries to pull you under, you can come back. You can be still. You can place your hand on your heart and breathe. And the knowing will be there, steady, faithful, true, because it was planted there by the angels themselves. And what they plant, nothing can uproot. With all the love of heaven, we close this message and we send you forward into what is coming. Go gently, go openly, go trusting. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $6, $11, $22, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.